It is week 3 of the incubator, and I've not recorded one of these diary entries for a couple of days because we have been so busy. I think I've mentioned in my other diary entries just the amount of work that you go through when you go through one of these incubators. Well, if it's a good one, I'm presuming. We are still what they're calling pre-program. We haven't gone out to Berlin yet, but we're still expected to complete at least 10 hours a week worth of tasks. I'm probably doing more like 15, 20 because I'm really going in depth on some of the tasks we're being given as well. And that's time that you've just got to find. I mean, most of us are running businesses or we've got jobs, we've got other things going on in our life, but we've got to find that time to actually do the tasks for the incubator. But we're entrepreneurs. We know that is part of the deal sometimes, putting in those hours. So what I want to do today was just go through one task that I found extremely useful, and I think you might find useful using it in your business too. So let me just quickly share my screen with you. 1 second. So there we go. So what you're looking at here is Notion. And you might have used Notion yourself. It's just a platform for task management, for project management. It's for productivity. You can use it for notes. You can use it for lots of different things. But this is the platform that they're using for the ProVeg Kickstarting For Good incubator. And if I go into my task list here, we'll see lots of done tasks, nice and green. That's great because I've been trying to keep on top of it all and get the work done. But then I'll go down to the tasks that I've not started yet, the tasks from this week. But one thing I wanted to share with you today was this task called role model analysis. Now, in business, this is something that I've done myself in my previous businesses. It's this whole idea that you do not need to reinvent the wheel, no matter what your idea is, no matter what impact you're trying to create in the world, no matter what problem you have in your business. There are other people out there who've already had that idea, who've already solved that problem. And if you can go and find out how they did it, then that's what you can apply to your business too. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Unfortunately, we do live in the information age. So a lot of the time, all the information you need to get from that business or organization is sat there on their website. So what I did was I picked out 3 different organizations that I found who are helping cause-driven businesses and entrepreneurs, or at least niche sector entrepreneurs as well, just to take a look at what they're doing. And so I found some very well-funded and very well-established organizations. And I went through each one of those. Let me just show you here. So I went through each one of those, looked at different areas, such as did an overview of what they did, looked at where their funding was coming from, looked at who their target audience is, why did they actually set this business up, looked at the support and services that they offered, and then took away the key learnings for Vegan Business Tribe. And the first one that I wanted to show you here is for an organization called Faith Driven Entrepreneur. Now, I have to start out by saying this, that I am not a person of faith, but I can see the huge good that this organization has done. And when you're looking at the why, so, why did they set up this organization and community? They identified that Christians who are in business or start business, they become better, for want of a different word, they become more efficient Christians. So a Christian who is a business owner, they are 3 times more likely to give to the community and the church than a non-business owner. What else have they put here? They are 64% established community impact programs, 25% bring others to faith on a regular basis. So they've identified that, getting Christians to be entrepreneurial is actually a really, really good idea and has a good positive impact. So that's why they set up their organization. So if I just very quickly take a look at their website here, and as I said, these people are very well funded. They've got a lot of really good resources on here. But what I've learned from them about what we can do better with Vegan Business Tribe is the idea of community. Because Faith-Driven Entrepreneur, they create lots of online content just like we do at Vegan Business Tribe. They've got courses, they've got video content for people to work through. But instead of suggesting that you just go and watch that content sat in your office or maybe while you're out on a walk listening to a podcast, they strongly advocate that you do it in groups of other people who share your mission and that share your ideals. So what they prompt you to do is actually go join your local faith-driven entrepreneur group, watch all their content together, and then have a group discussion about that afterwards, about how you can apply that to your business and what you can do with that information, which is a really great idea. And what they do as well, they say if you can't find your own local community group, then they will help you set up your own. And if I just go look at the resources that they give you to do this, just click on their resources tab, they give you so much support for setting up your local group. They give you their launch guide, they give you all the templates for emails to send out, they give you slides for when you're doing presentations about your group, they'll even give you a very well produced trailer that you can put on social media or on your website to show what the group is about. They will give you all the online graphics, all the email headers, all the social graphics, even the LinkedIn group banner as well. It's really, they've gone to the full ends to give you almost this group in a box to make it as easy as possible for you to set that up. And I love this idea, because this is the idea of actually empowering your community to expand itself. Because we do get people approaching us at Vegan Business Tribe saying, we love what you do, how can we bring this to our region? And that might just be a city where there's quite a lot of vegan activity, it might be a different country and things like that. And the reason that we haven't done that as Vegan Business Tribe is me. I'm always the bottleneck, and I've always had this idea that yes, if we're going to go and run a Vegan Business Tribe meeting in another city or another country, that I've got to be there. I've got to be the one organizing it and facilitating it. And what this shows me is no, you can actually just skill up and give the tools to your community to allow them to expand on their own. And that's a far better way to expand your reach. So that's something that I've really taken away for Vegan Business Tribe. Just very quickly looking at two of the other organizations I looked at. Start Out, and this is an absolutely brilliant organization. So Start Out, they actually support LGBTQ plus entrepreneurs and businesses. But the great thing about them, if I just open up their website, is the amount of money that they've raised. So they have raised $1.27 billion worth of funding for their members and LGBTQ plus businesses and entrepreneurs. And that is absolutely astounding. And when you look at where that money comes from, they have corporate donors and sponsors that include AWS, Amazon Web Services, Coca-Cola, Comcast, Google, JP Morgan, Visa. These are really some of the largest companies in the world who are supporting this movement and supporting these entrepreneurs. And the parallels that I can pull from that between the LGBTQ plus movement and animal rights and veganism is statistically they are similar sized communities. So when you look at the amount of people who identify as LGBTQ plus, that is somewhere in the region of 5 to 7% of the population. When you look at the people who identify as vegan, depending on the country that you're looking at, that is around the same statistic between that whole 5 to 7% of the population. But what they've done is they've been very efficient in championing this cause and getting people to care about it and getting the large businesses to invest in it, even though statistically it's a very niche community. So that's something that I can take away from what we're trying to do at Vegan Business Tribe as well. And then the third organization, just very quickly, that I looked at was the Black Economic Council of Massachusetts, or BECMA, BECMA. And this is fascinating because they don't actually provide things like online content like we do. Because they're based in one specific state, everything they do is in person and hands-on, and they have been so successful at this. In the last year alone, they have distributed over $600,000 worth of grants to their membership and Black-owned businesses. They have been very good at actually engaging with the government and legislature on the state level to get resources reallocated to help improve Black businesses and Black business owners. And this is absolutely fantastic because that's something that we've never really looked at much in Vegan Business Tribe. This idea that if you do focus on one particular region, you can actually go in there And you can identify what grants are available. You can identify what local support is available and be a lot more hands-on in helping your members there. So that's something which I've really taken away from looking at Beckham as well. And again, just looking at their website to give you a little bit of their why, a little bit of their story. They've also got the Mass Black Expo coming up in Boston. If you're in that region, you want to go see it. But when you look at their story of where they came about from, it's a real powerful story that they tell. So there was a report done called The Colour of Wealth in Boston, and it showed that the median net worth of the average Black Bostonian was only $8, whereas the average median net worth of a white Bostonian was over $247,000. So there really was this massive racial wealth gap that needed addressing, and that's where they came from. And they've been exceptionally good at doing something about that and reallocating those funds and helping Black businesses succeed in that area. So that's something which is just great to learn from and great to take away from too. Okay, so just close my screen down here. So that's what I want to share with you today. And the reason that I want to share this with you is because this is a really good tool for you to do for your own business. So go out there and find the businesses or organizations who have already done what you're trying to do, who are already making the impact that you want to make in the world. The companies who have been very successful that you could look at and say, yes, I wish my business was like that. Because you can learn from those companies. You can look at where their revenue comes from. You can look at their business models. You can look at how they're communicating what they do. You can look at what packages they've put together. You can look at the different sorts of interaction they get. You can look at who they're servicing and how they actually engage that audience. And you can take that away and you can pick bits out of that and then use that in your own business. And that's going to be a lot quicker than just trying to work it all out yourself, about trying to just sit down on your own in a room and say, what am I going to do with my business? Where am I going to take this next? I found this an extraordinarily useful task to go through. One tip I will give was initially I couldn't find these companies that I've just spoken about. I couldn't find these organizations. So what I actually used was ChatGTP. And I just told ChatGTP what we did as Vegan Business Tribe. I said, I'm looking for more example of businesses and organizations that support cause-driven entrepreneurs or niche business sectors. It came back with about 10 different examples, and within that was one or two which was kind of exactly what I was looking for. So I gave it that feedback. I said, yeah, brilliant. Options 6 and 7 are perfect. Can you find me more just like that? And it did. And that's how I got the short list of organizations to look at. So do that yourself. Identify the people who are exactly what you want to be. Go learn what they do, learn how they did it. If you can, reach out to them and actually maybe have a talk with their founders, because I think you'll find that extremely useful in helping you give some real kind of meaning and direction to what you're doing with your business too. Great. So hopefully you found that useful today, and I'll catch up with you on the next one, but I've got to get back to it. You saw how many tasks we had there that weren't quite complete. That's my task for today.